The deception begins. The Shadow Whisper drifted through Outpost Delta's busy shipping lanes like a ghost of bygone days. Its hull, purposefully weathered and scarred, drew dismissive glances from passing vessels. Captain Sarah Chen watched through the command deck's scratched viewport as a sleek military cruiser sailed past, its crew not even bothering to log the Shadow Whisper's presence. "Status report on our malfunctioning systems," Sarah asked, her lips curving into a slight smile. Dr. Marcus Rivera, their systems specialist, looked up from his intentionally outdated console. "Oh, we're putting on quite a show, Captain. Our power signature suggests we're barely holding together. Anyone scanning us would think we're running on fumes and prayer." The Shadow Whisper's apparent decrepitude was humanity's most carefully crafted illusion. Beneath its corroded exterior lay technology that would make even the most advanced military vessels seem primitive. But that was classified information, known only to a select few within Earth's Special Operations Command. "Incoming transmission," announced Lieutenant Kira Patel, their communications officer. "System-wide alert from Fleet Command." The message played throughout the ship. "All vessels be advised. Multiple Nexus collective signatures detected at the edge of monitored space. All civilian ships proceed to designated safe harbors. Military vessels assume defensive positions." The Nexus Collective, a highly advanced alien civilization that had emerged from deep space 6 months ago. Their initial diplomatic overtures had seemed peaceful until Earth's intelligence services discovered their true nature. The collective viewed younger civilizations as resources to be harvested, their technology and knowledge to be absorbed into their vast network. "Right on schedule," Sarah murmured. She turned to her XO, Commander James Rodriguez. "How's our special cargo?" James checked a hidden panel beneath his station. "The quantum pulse array is stable. Dr. Rivera's modifications are holding perfectly. As far as anyone can tell, we're just hauling processed minerals." The Shadow Whisper had spent months establishing its cover as an unremarkable transport vessel, making routine cargo runs between outer colonies. Each trip gathered crucial data about Nexus collective patrol patterns, shield frequencies, and weapon signatures. Information that seemed meaningless in isolation, but formed a crucial puzzle when pieced together. "Multiple Nexus vessels entering the system," Kira reported. "Their energy signatures match previous encounters." Sarah nodded, watching as the first wave of alien ships appeared. Their crystalline hulls shimmered with an otherworldly beauty, organic curves blending seamlessly with geometric precision. The collected ships moved with perfect coordination, their formation speaking of absolute confidence in their technological superiority. "They still haven't adjusted their shield harmonics," Dr. Rivera observed, studying readings from their carefully concealed sensors. "They don't believe we could have decoded their patterns." "Pride," Sarah said softly. "The same pride that makes them ignore ships they consider beneath their notice." She opened a channel to engineering. "Chief Wong, how are we looking down there?" "Ready when you need us, Captain," came the reply. "Our ancient fusion drive is putting on a convincing show of struggling to maintain power. Meanwhile, the quantum core is purring like a kitten." The Shadow Whisper's true heart was a revolutionary quantum power system, capable of channeling energy in ways that defied conventional physics. But to the outside world, it appeared to be running on outdated fusion technology, barely able to maintain standard operations. As the Nexus collective fleet moved deeper into the system, military vessels scrambled to defensive positions. The Shadow Whisper continued its seemingly aimless drift, broadcasting the weak power signatures of a ship that could barely function. None of the alien vessels paid it any attention. "They're launching their first attack wave," Kira announced. 3 light minutes from our position." Sarah watched as the collective's weapons lit up space. Their energy beams cut through human shields with frightening ease, exactly as intelligence had predicted. The aliens had deliberately leaked vulnerable shield frequencies to Earth's military, ensuring that human defenses would be calibrated to frequencies their weapons could easily penetrate. "Begin recording their attack patterns," Sarah ordered. "Every detail matters." The bridge crew worked in focused silence as the battle unfolded around them. The Shadow Whisper's advanced sensors, hidden beneath layers of interference and false readings, captured every nuance of the collective's assault. Each burst of weapons fire, each shield modulation, each formation shift was analyzed and compared against months of gathered intelligence. Final confirmation, Dr. Rivera announced after several tense minutes. Their tactical algorithms match our projected patterns. The vulnerability is real. Sarah allowed herself a small nod of satisfaction. Humanity had been preparing for this moment ever since they'd discovered the collective's true nature. While Earth's official military made a show of developing exactly the kind of defenses the aliens had manipulated them toward, ships like the Shadow Whisper had been gathering the real intelligence needed to turn the tables. All hands, Sarah broadcast throughout the ship. Prepare for Phase 2. Remember your training. We're about to show the collective why they should have paid more attention to the ships they ignored. The fate of Earth would depend not on the mighty vessels exchanging fire in the distance, but on an overlooked ship that appeared to be barely worth a second glance. Sometimes, Sarah reflected, the most dangerous weapon was the one your enemy never saw coming. Should I continue with Part 2? Sarah asked her crew, knowing they were ready to remind the Nexus Collective why humanity had survived countless challenges throughout its history, hidden in plain sight. The Nexus Collective's assault continued with mechanical precision. Their crystalline ships moved through space like a swarm of predatory fish, each vessel's movements perfectly coordinated with its neighbors. Earth's military fleet fought back with determination, but their weapons seemed to slide harmlessly off the aliens' advanced shields. Collective command ship is broadcasting. Kira reported, her fingers dancing across her console. They're demanding immediate surrender. A voice filled the bridge, its artificial translation carrying notes of superiority and disdain. Human forces, your resistance is futile and irrational. Your military technology is inadequate. Surrender now and submit to integration with the collective. Sarah watched as another human destroyer succumbed to the collective's weapons, its hull breaking apart in a silent explosion. The alien strategy was brutally effective. They had manipulated humanity into developing exactly the wrong kind of defenses, ensuring an easy victory. Or so they thought. Dr. Rivera, Sarah called out, start compiling the attack data. I want to know every detail about their weapon harmonics. Already on it, Captain, Marcus replied, his hands moving across 3 different hidden interfaces. Their energy signatures are exactly what we predicted. The collective is so convinced of their superiority, they haven't even bothered to vary their attack patterns. The Shadow Whisper's true sensors, concealed beneath layers of apparent malfunction, recorded everything. Each blast from the collective's weapons, each shield modulation, each tactical maneuver was analyzed and compared against months of careful observation. The ship's quantum core, hidden behind the facade of an aging fusion reactor, processed the data at speeds that would have amazed even the collective. Chief Wong, Sarah called down to engineering. How are our special modifications holding up? Beautiful, Captain, came the reply. The quantum pulse array is fully charged but completely masked. As far as their scans can tell, we're just running on emergency power. Had 3 collective ships pass within detection range, they didn't give us a second look. James Rodriguez, monitoring the tactical situation, suddenly straightened in his chair. Captain, they're beginning their second phase. The collective fleet is splitting into smaller attack groups. Sarah nodded. This too had been predicted. The collective always followed the same tactical doctrine. First demonstrate overwhelming force, then divide, and systematically eliminate any remaining resistance. Their absolute confidence in their technological superiority made them predictable. Kira, send the distress call, Sarah ordered. Make it sound appropriately panicked. Kira cleared her throat and began broadcasting on open channels. This is civilian transport, Shadow Whisper. We've lost main power. Cannot maintain position. Any vessels please assist. Her voice carried just the right note of desperate fear. The response was exactly what they'd expected. Nothing. Both human and collective ships ignored the apparently crippled transport. The aliens were focused on military targets, while Earth's forces were too busy trying to survive to worry about a seemingly worthless civilian vessel. "They're moving into exactly the formation we predicted," Marcus announced, studying his readings. "The command ship is positioning itself at the calculated coordinates." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The collective's arrogance was their greatest weakness. They were so certain of their tactical superiority that they never varied their strategies. Why should they? Their technology was advanced enough that even if their enemies knew what was coming, they shouldn't be able to do anything about it. "All hands," Sarah broadcast throughout the ship. "Prepare for Phase 3. Remember, timing is everything." The Shadow Whisper's crew worked with quiet efficiency, each member knowing their role in the carefully crafted deception. While the collected ships danced their deadly ballet through space, humanity's secret weapon drifted among them like a piece of forgotten debris. "Engineering reports all systems go," James announced. "The quantum pulse array is ready. We can trigger it any time." Sarah watched through the viewport as another human cruiser fell to the collective's weapons. The aliens' victory seemed assured, their superior technology cutting through Earth's defenses like they weren't even there. But they had made one crucial mistake. "You know what the collective's greatest flaw is?" Sarah asked her bridge crew. "They're so focused on grand displays of power that they've forgotten one of the most basic military principles: never underestimate your enemy." The Shadow Whisper continued its apparent drift, its true purpose hidden behind layers of carefully crafted deception. Soon, the collective would learn that sometimes the most dangerous weapon wasn't the biggest or the most advanced. It was the one you never saw coming. The turning point. "Collective command ship is moving into optimal position," Marcus announced, his voice tight with anticipation. "Their formation is exactly where we predicted it would be." Sarah Chen studied the tactical display, watching as the alien fleet executed their standard victory formation. The collected ships arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern, their crystalline hulls creating a mesmerizing dance of reflected starlight. It would have been beautiful if it wasn't so deadly. "They're preparing for their final attack run," Kira reported from communications. "They're broadcasting surrender demands to all Earth forces." The alien commander's voice filled the bridge again, dripping with artificial confidence. "Your military assets are depleted. Your defensive capabilities are inadequate. Submit to integration now, or face complete annihilation." Sarah watched as the remaining Earth military vessels regrouped, their formations ragged but determined. The human fleet had fought bravely, but their weapons and shields had been precisely the wrong type to combat the collective's technology, exactly as the aliens had planned. "Chief Wong," Sarah called down to engineering. "Status of the quantum pulse array." "Charged and ready, Captain," came the immediate response. "The masking field is holding perfectly. As far as their sensors can tell, we're still just a dying transport with barely enough power to keep life support running." James Rodriguez spoke up from his tactical station. "Captain, I'm detecting energy builds in the collective fleet. They're preparing for their final barrage." Sarah nodded, her expression calm despite the tension filling the bridge. "Dr. Rivera, begin final calculations. I want our targeting solution perfect." Marcus's fingers flew across his hidden interfaces, the advanced computers concealed within the Shadow Whisper's apparently obsolete systems processing data at incredible speeds. "Computing now, Captain. The collected shield harmonics are following the exact patterns we've observed. Their arrogance makes them predictable." Through the viewport, Sarah could see the collective's weapons beginning to glow with gathered energy. Their final attack would be devastating, designed not just to destroy Earth's remaining forces, but to demonstrate the utter futility of resistance. "All hands," Sarah broadcast throughout the ship. "This is the moment we've trained for. Everything depends on perfect timing and coordination. The Shadow Whisper's crew worked with focused intensity, each member knowing their role in the plan that was about to unfold. While the collective's ships positioned themselves for their triumphant final, humanity's hidden weapon drifted through their formation like an ignored piece of space debris. Energy spike in the collective fleet, Kira announced. They're committing to their final attack pattern. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Send the signal to Earth Command. Authorization code. Shadow protocol active. The message was brief, just a burst of encrypted data that would be lost in the chaos of battle. But in command centers across Earth and its colonies, carefully placed operators would understand its significance. Collective weapons powering up, James reported. 30 seconds to full discharge. Sarah straightened in her command chair. Dr. Rivera, begin quantum core power-up sequence. Keep it masked until the last possible moment. Deep within the Shadow Whisper's hull, technology that humanity had kept hidden for years began to awaken. The ship's true heart, a quantum manipulation system far beyond anything the collective had ever encountered, stirred to life while maintaining its disguise as a failing fusion reactor. Quantum core at full power, Marcus announced. Masking field holding steady. They still have no idea what we really are. 20 seconds to collective weapons discharge, James counted down. Sarah's voice remained steady as she gave the order they'd all been waiting for. Initialize targeting solutions. Prepare to deploy quantum pulse array on my mark. The Shadow Whisper's hidden weapons, technology that had been developed in secret while humanity seemingly struggled with basic shield designs, aligned themselves with invisible precision. Each targeting solution was based on months of careful observation, analyzing every detail of the collective's supposedly superior technology. 10 seconds, James called out. Sarah watched as the alien fleet's weapons reached their peak charge. In moments, they would unleash a barrage designed to end Earth's resistance once and for all. But they had made one crucial mistake. They had never bothered to look closely at the ships they considered beneath their notice. 5 seconds. All systems ready, Marcus confirmed. Quantum pulse array aligned with calculated shield frequencies. 3, 2, 1. Sarah's voice cut through the tension on the bridge with calm authority. Deploy quantum pulse array. Show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. The moment of truth had arrived. The Shadow Whisper was about to remind the collective why humanity had survived countless challenges throughout its history, not through overwhelming force, but through ingenuity, deception, and the ability to turn an enemy's arrogance against them. Unmasking power. The quantum pulse fired without a sound, invisible to conventional sensors. For a fraction of a second, nothing seemed to happen. Then the impossible occurred. The nearest collective ship's shields flickered and died. Then another's, and another's. Like dominoes falling in zero gravity, the supposedly impenetrable defenses of the alien fleet began to fail. Direct hit on all targeted vessels, Marcus announced, his voice tight with controlled excitement. Shield frequencies matched perfectly. Their defensive systems are completely compromised. The collective's response was immediate but confused. Their formation, so perfect moments ago, began to break apart as ships tried to identify the source of the attack. Their sensors, calibrated to detect powerful energy weapons and strong shield signatures, swept right past the Shadow Whisper. They're still ignoring us, Kira reported with a hint of satisfaction. Their battle computers can't believe a threat could come from something so apparently primitive. Sarah's voice remained calm as she gave her next order. Deploy secondary systems. Let's show them what else we've been hiding. The Shadow Whisper's hull began to transform. Panels that had appeared to be patches of corrosion split apart, revealing advanced weapon ports. The ship's quantum core, no longer masked by false power signatures, pulsed with energy that made nearby sensors shriek with impossible readings. Collective command ship is broadcasting, Kira announced. They're demanding to know what's happening. The alien voice, now tinged with confusion, filled the bridge. Unknown attack detected. Identify yourself immediately. This violation of collective superiority will not be tolerated. Send them our response, Sarah ordered, a slight smile playing at her lips. Let them know exactly who they've been ignoring. Kira transmitted their message. This is the Earth vessel Shadow Whisper. You should have paid more attention to the ships you considered beneath your notice. The Shadow Whisper's true weapons came online. Quantum-enhanced energy beams, developed in secret while humanity pretended to struggle with basic technology, lashed out at the now vulnerable collective ships. Each shot struck with devastating precision, targeting weaknesses that months of careful observation had revealed. Multiple collective vessels disabled, James reported, tracking the damage. Their attempts to re-establish shields are failing. Our attack pattern is too irregular for their combat algorithms to predict. The alien fleet's perfect formation had dissolved into chaos. Ships designed to fight as part of a synchronized whole found themselves unable to coordinate. The collective's rigid tactical doctrine, so effective against conventional opponents, left them helpless against an enemy that broke all their rules of engagement. They're trying to target us now, Marcus announced. But their weapons are calibrated for capital ship signatures. They can't get a lock on our actual profile. Sarah nodded. Maintain attack pattern. Don't let them adapt to our rhythm. The Shadow Whisper danced through the disoriented collective fleet, its movements unpredictable and precise. Each shot found its mark. Each maneuver confused the aliens' targeting systems further. The ship that had appeared too insignificant to notice was systematically dismantling one of the most powerful fleets humanity had ever encountered. Collective Command Ship is powering up its main weapon array, James warned. They're preparing to fire blindly into the area. Just as we predicted, Sarah replied. Execute maneuver pattern Delta. Show them why quantity of firepower isn't everything. The Shadow Whisper's quantum drive engaged, allowing it to move in ways that defied conventional physics. As the collective command ship unleashed a devastating barrage, humanity's secret weapon seemed to flow between the energy beams like water through rocks. Direct hit on their command ship's power distribution network, Marcus called out. Quantum pulse frequencies matched perfectly. Their primary systems are failing. Through the viewport, Sarah watched as the mighty collective command ship's lights began to flicker and die. The alien vessel, large enough to dwarf Earth's largest battleships, was being systematically shut down by a ship they had dismissed as space debris. Incoming transmission from Earth Command, Kira announced. The rest of the Shadow Fleet is engaging. Other disguised vessels are revealing themselves throughout the collective formation. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Shadow Whisper hadn't been alone in its deception. While the collective had focused on manipulating humanity's military development, Earth had been preparing a surprise of its own. Send word to the other shadow ships, Sarah ordered. Execute final attack pattern. Let's remind the collective why they should have looked more closely at the vessels they ignored. Victory through ingenuity. Across the battlefield, other seemingly derelict ships suddenly transformed. Civilian transports, mining vessels, and what appeared to be space debris revealed their true nature. The Shadow Fleet, humanity's hidden defenders, emerged from their careful disguises. Multiple quantum pulse signatures detected, Marcus reported, tracking the coordinated attack. All shadow vessels reporting successful shield penetration of collective ships. The alien fleet's formation had completely collapsed. Their rigid combat doctrine, designed to overwhelm conventional military forces, had no protocols for dealing with an enemy that ignored all the rules of engagement they thought they understood. Collective command ship broadcasting on all frequencies, Kira announced. They're requesting terms. The alien commander's voice, now stripped of its artificial confidence, filled the bridge. Human forces, we demand explanation. This technology should not be possible at your development level. You were not supposed to be capable of this. Sarah nodded to Kira. Send our response. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Shadow Whisper. Your mistake was assuming that what you saw was all we had. Humanity has learned through countless challenges that survival sometimes depends not on being the strongest, but on being the most adaptable. The Shadow Fleet moved with coordinated precision, their quantum weapons systematically disabling the remaining collective vessels. Ships that had seemed invincible mere minutes ago now drifted powerless, their crews watching in stunned disbelief as their supposed technological superiority crumbled around them. Earth Command confirms multiple breakthroughs across all engagement zones, James reported. The collective's entire invasion force is either disabled or in retreat. Sarah watched through the viewport as the mighty alien fleet, the force that had intended to subjugate humanity, was systematically dismantled by ships they had never considered a threat. The Shadow Whisper's quantum core hummed with power that the collective had never imagined humans could possess. Status of their command ship? Sarah asked. Complete systems failure, Marcus confirmed. Their primary and secondary power grids are offline. They're operating on emergency reserves only. The bridge crew worked with focused efficiency, coordinating with the rest of the Shadow Fleet to secure their victory. The collective's remaining vessels, those that could still maneuver, were attempting to retreat, their perfect formation now nothing more than a scattered exodus. Captain, Kira called out. Message from Earth Command. They're requesting that we accept the collective's surrender. Sarah nodded. Open a channel to their command ship. The alien commander's voice had lost all trace of superiority. How did you conceal such capabilities? Our analysis indicated your technology was far below this level. You saw what you expected to see, Sarah replied. You were so convinced of your own superiority that you never looked deeper. Humanity has faced existential threats before. We've learned that sometimes the best defense isn't a powerful warship. It's making your enemies underestimate you. Throughout the system, the Shadow Fleet continued its work, securing disabled collective vessels and ensuring no further resistance. Earth's conventional military forces, now coordinating with their hidden protectors, began recovery operations. Chief Wong, Sarah called down to engineering. Status of our systems. Everything performing perfectly, Captain, came the reply. The quantum core is stable, and all our special modifications are still functioning at peak efficiency. We could do this all day if we needed to. Sarah allowed herself a moment to appreciate the irony. The collective had spent years manipulating humanity's technological development, never realizing they were the ones being deceived. While Earth's official military had developed exactly the kind of technology the aliens expected, the Shadow Fleet had been preparing something entirely different. Send word to all Shadow vessels, Sarah ordered. Begin recovery operations, and make sure our ships maintain their disguises during the cleanup. No need to reveal all our secrets at once. The Shadow Whisper, still appearing as little more than a battered transport to casual observers, moved through the debris field of battle. Its advanced sensors, no longer hidden, cataloged everything about the collective's technology. Information that would ensure humanity was never caught unprepared again. Captain, Kira spoke up. Earth Command is requesting a full debrief. They want to know when we can begin sharing this technology with the rest of the fleet. Sarah smiled. Tell them not yet. The Shadow Fleet works best when no one knows we exist. After all, she looked out at the scattered remains of the collective's invasion force. Sometimes the most effective weapon is the one your enemy never sees coming. The Shadow Whisper continued its work, its true nature still hidden from most observers. In the years to come, the collective would remember this day, not just as a military defeat, but as a lesson in humility. They had learned the hard way that true power doesn't always announce itself with impressive displays and overwhelming force. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to remind the galaxy that humanity should never be underestimated.